comes on board, yep, we can get started. I can see Ebony Duke from Gambia has just joined us. We had Fashion Connect Africa from Ghana that has joined us. I'm seeing my people from England. Who's calling me sweet sugar daddy? Hey, please, oh. So, good evening. I don't want to be sugar daddy. I still feel I'm young. Anyway, but we have a great evening lined up. So let me do an introduction to you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shirley Ibade, aka Mr. Mahogany, and you're welcome to Fashion's Finest Africa Chat Room. All right. The chat room is a weekly interactive. It's interactive because it's about you and I. All right. Interactive talk show brought to you by Fashion Finest Africa, which is the leading fashion platform in Africa. I, Shirley Ibade, Mr. Mahogany, is your host. All right. So Fashion Finest is a platform. Background about what Fashion Finest is about. Fashion Finest is a platform that celebrates new and emerging designers and creatives. We have our epic shows to our awards, and very soon, guys, very soon, we're gonna have the most informative, one of the hottest blogs that Africa has ever seen. So anything and everything you need to know about fashion, beauty, lifestyle, that's where you're going to come. We're waiting for David to come on board. I think he sent me a link. Let me just be sure. No, he hasn't sent me a link yet. Questions have already started coming in, so please send in your questions. All right? So we are all about celebrating fashionpreneurs. Get that into your dictionary. Fashionpreneurs, not entrepreneurs, fashionpreneurs. Okay, so David's just joined. So David is joined and he's about to come on live. People, hold on, put your seatbelt on because this show will be the ride of your life. So our show will focus on beauty, everything, fashion, entertainment. We're going to be bringing you the top fashionistas, celebrities, superstars from across Africa to talk to you. Like now, as you can see, we have David Tlale in his signature
Tlale.
glasses. David, why are you
Tlale.
embarrassing me? Why? How do you pronounce it?
Tlale with a K. Tlale.
Oh, Carly. And I didn't
Kla.
know that.
Kla. Kla.
Kla.
Yes, like Calvin Klein.
But Kla. Okay, without the Klein. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I think all
There
of
we
us in
go.
Africa, we pronounce it Tali, Tale.
I know.
We never
I've been
pronounce it
called
Kla.
Tlale.
Okay, Clearly. So we got it now. So I'm going to
Fantastic.
practice that. And Wari is going to make sure I also practice it so that I never ever get it wrong again. All right?
Thank
David, people are ready for you, and I know you're ready for them. I know you're ready. Last week, you came onto our show and you scattered the whole show. You caused havoc.
What did I do? I
So
asked simple questions. What is the problem now?
there's no problem. So they are going to ask you questions, and I know you as you are. You're going to say that it is. But before we get into the questions, please let everybody know who you are. All right, because that's very important. David Tlale. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll get better. I will get better.
I know you
Practice will
will.
make it perfect. David Tlale is a remarkable fashion designer who hails from South Africa. His amazing and unique designs have been showcased all over the world in the most sought after fashion shows from London and Paris Fashion Week to GT Bank Fashion Weekend, amongst so many other shows that he's done. To say that Tlale is talented is seriously an understatement. We know it and he knows it. All right. He is a renowned for his undeniable knack for showmanship. Guys, you can see it already. Can you see how he looks? I feel like I'm his houseboy. He's calm, glasses, haircut looking on point. Anyway, but no problem. It's not me it's about, so I can get away with it. And elaborate designs. His work is both daring and elegant. So people, please wave, say a big hi to David Tlale. Okay? So, David, how are you?
I'm fine. How far now?
I'm fine. Oh, you look like you have been this COVID-19 doesn't seem to be affecting you. You're looking very fresh, nice and slim. If I didn't know better, knowing how your life is normally, I'd have said maybe you had gone to Mauritius, then you had gone to Japan, gone to America. But I know you are locked in. Which country are you locked in? Let me ask.
I'm in my country. I'm in South Africa.
So you're in South Africa. You're looking very good.
Yes.
You see, when you look like
Thank
these
you.
people, what this means is that the money is still flowing. Some of us have not made money for months. In his case, in David's case, you can see the money is still fresh. It's still coming in. It's okay, David. Show us the way.
I'm not going to say anything right now. All I'm saying is, you know, Uncle Shola, in like the longest time in my career, this is the time I've actually rested the most in the
Wow.
past 7 weeks. So I think it has just done us like literally justice to rest, take care of ourselves, and do things that we want. Because I can tell you, I think the last time I had a proper vacation has been like, I think 6 years ago.
Okay. On that one, I actually feel you for that because quite a few people have said it. I think Style Infidel said that he got a chance to sleep. Me, I'm actually bored of sleeping now. Is that bad? And I'm like you. I'm always working. I'm always on the move. I'm just very
Mm-hmm.
restless. So it's been a problem. So uh, an indirect effect of COVID-19 has actually been that people like you and I, and those of us that have this turbulent lifestyle, have actually had a chance to get some sleep. And it's showing on
Absolutely.
you. It's showing on you. All right, let's get into the question. All right.
Thank
So,
you.
David, you've been to many fashion shows all over the world. Okay.
Yeah.
You've been in the industry for well over 14 years. So, what's your take on the African fashion industry? Is it is it anything to be reckoned with? Is it up and coming? Is it nowhere? Are you completely disappointed? Should we shut it all down? What do you feel about the African fashion industry from what you've seen?
I feel the African fashion industry has come a long way. And, you look at the past and you look at where we are right now. I mean, we speak the years while I was still in university, like in 1993, 94 until 98. The fashion industry was like still like neither here or there, and never you wouldn't have heard of African fashion designers showcasing on international platforms,
True.
even local retailers stocking up local designers. That was unheard of, and only towards the end of the 90s we started the merge of proper fashion of business happening. And I feel like we are on the rise. We are doing a lot of work, even if we are doing it as scatterbrains and all of us just trying to prove a point. But at the end of the day, there's a rise and there's a growth, and you can see with how the international market is starting to actually receive us as
Yeah.
African designers. And you look at from the likes of the LVMH prize, and so many young designers are making a mark in that place. But look, we just like just retracted a bit a few years ago from the early I would say 2010, 11. We
Mm,
saw a rise taking designers to New York Fashion Week and working
yeah.
with supermodels internationally. It has been like really, really beautiful. So there is something that is happening in the continent. We can never shut it down. But the one thing that I can tell you, Uncle Shola, is that we have so much talent in this continent that the world is not even ready to actually consume in its entirety. You look at how vast the continent is and how
Hmm.
our narratives are so different from each other. Yes, we're in the same continent, but our narratives are different. Our cultural backgrounds are very different. But the most important thing is we need to start doing it right as the proper business of fashion. Do we understand what the business of fashion is?
True.
Not all of us do, because we kind of like go to fashion schools and graduate and think we're going to be fabulous overnight. But the difference is there's a difference of being a celebrity designer and
True.
being a fashion designer.
So, what is the
Because other
business of fashion? Why you're going along? Explain to us, because a lot of people don't understand that. I tell people, listen, you guys, you're designers, but you understand the business of fashion, and they don't
Yeah,
get me. So, can you tell people that are here now what actually you mean by business of fashion?
The business of fashion is purely understanding that as a designer, you should be able to conceptualize collections. That's number one. Source your fabrics and give creative input and direction to the people that you work with or to yourself as you are building the collection. Post that, you should be able to put together a lookbook. In layman's English is a catalog with price points and what colors are you offering the collection in, what sizes are you offering them in, and what are your delivery times. And post that, you need, this is before you even showcase the collection. You need to start seeing buyers, your clients. By the time you showcase your collection should have made you money. By the time you showcase, it's just purely showcase and marketing what actually is you're going to actually going to sell and or what's coming to the stores. So working also beyond just like beyond the lookbook and the line sheet, you work on your PR and marketing strategy, whereby now you invite the media to come and view your collection. They start sourcing to style for the photo shoots. I mean, I know that magazines, mostly globally, they work three months in advance before it goes onto shelf. And you start giving them preview. They start previewing your collections and they start sourcing from you, and you build relationships with them. And also in the business of fashion, you understand that you are, as a designer, you're not an island. You're not a sole entity. You are working with an entire value chain from designers, pattern makers, machinists, trim wholesalers, fabric wholesalers, you name it, until retail and until the product is on the hanger in the store. So you gotta understand the holistic value chain, that you don't just go to the market to go buy fabric because now you're putting together a collection. You buy a fabric that you know that if your clients wants to order in bulk, you are able to find the same fabric at competitive price points that are going to help you to become profitable at the end of the day.
Right. People, are you getting this? Because a lot of you don't understand. You think it's just about the other thing around business of fashion that I wanted you just to sorry, I'm kind of being diverted, but I think it's very necessary to just harp on this a little bit more.
Yeah.
Is people don't understand how to get their costing right, David. And what I mean by this is that a designer, when I speak to a designer, I say, how much money are you making on this clothes? And they will say, right, I bought the material, and I bought a few buttons, and I bought a few accessories for 25 Rand. Let's just say 25 Rand. And I sold it for 45 Rand. So I've made 20 Rand profit. Please explain to people why they have so got this wrong.
The main thing that we have to understand as designers, if you're, let's say for instance, you specialize on bespoke, these are custom made garments or anything that you're making. Number one, you have to start respecting yourself as a creative and as a professional. When someone comes to see you, they have to pay consultation fee because you are a professional. You can, I'm going to make a simple example. If you're going to see a doctor, you're going to make an appointment and you're going to pay what? Your consultation fee. Your consultation fee has nothing to do with your garment that you're buying. Whether you're buying or not, it don't matter. When you see your doctor, it has nothing to do with your medication or your diagnosis. So whatever results come from there, you're still going to pay to go get the results. You're going to pay to get the medication. So same applies with designers. We need to start, people need to start charging consultation fee. That's when you start taking yourself seriously. Number two, when you start costing, you must understand your worth as a designer. Your sketching time, pattern making has a cost. Sample making, there's a cost. And then the fitting, every time you see a client, you have to cost that time in because you are stopping to do everything else. You are costing that amount into having to see the client for a fitting. If they want 10 fittings, each and every fitting must be costed in the garment, because
That's correct.
at the end of the day, there's nothing for free. People get it so wrong that says, as fashion designers, we're not supposed to charge consultation fee. We have to charge consultation fee. Every time I see you, I have to charge you something. Then from there, you must charge for your paper that you make the patterns with, all your stationery, your toile or your calico that you're using to make your sample, for fabric, for electricity, for your rent, for the threads that you're using, and the petrol. People do not cost all these things. They're like, okay, I bought fabric for, say, 3,000 nairas, okay? Or whatever per yard, or 5,000 nairas per yard, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, you don't filter all these other costs for you to leave Lekki to go to the market, and the time that you're spending, the taxi money, and all those things. So your costing must be precise. Everything that you do on a garment, you must cost it. Then from there, you're able to do what? To calculate your margins, the time spent on making this garment, and what your profit margins are supposed to be.
Wow. Guys, also in there's your electricity costs. All right.
Absolutely.
What you are worth. You know, there's water, there's generator, there's diesel, there's all those things. They have to be factored into it as well. So, David, speaking about the fashion industry in Africa, do you think that there's too many fashion designers around? You know, has the industry become saturated, or is there even such a thing as a saturated fashion industry? I don't know. I'm asking you. You've been around.
I think let's go back to our last week's topic. You know, when I asked the Style Fidel that what does it take about these overnight success
That was
designs?
going to be my next question to you. Go ahead, don't worry. We're merging together.
It's okay. So the industry has become so, people have washed it down. People have not, they don't respect the industry anymore because of our access to technology, access to collections that are really available on Pinterest, on Instagram, on everywhere. And people just feel like, okay, I can just choose a designer that I think I like their style and start duplicating their collections, or even start mixing up 4 or 5 designers and come up with my own style without a formal education. Look, I am not against and I'm not opposed to people that are talented. Talent is amazing, but talent without education has got limitations. What are these limitations? That's when plagiarism starts coming into play, because now your talent has gone up to a point. But if you are, you've went to a fashion school, number one, in fashion school, in your first year, this is what I know, you learn about the history of fashion. History of fashion that starts post-date, like days of Adam and Eve, until to where we are. And when a client comes to you, say, I want I'm going to a party and our theme is Baroque. You can't be like, what is Baroque? I don't understand it. If a client says, I want a Baroque inspired dress, as a designer, you should understand exactly what a Baroque era was. You understand those big sleeves, ornate, it was very gold, it was all about Gaga. You can't say to a client, please come next week because I still need to research what Baroque is. This is the issue that we have. People who are not informed, people who are not educated, people who are ignorant of the basics of understanding what fashion industry is made of. It's made of history. It's made of pattern making, garment construction, and also understanding textiles. Because if you don't understand textiles, whatever you make is going to show you flames. And you're not going to know what kind of needle, what kind of needle you need to use, what needle you don't need to be using with particular fabrications. And so there's a lot of things that go into learning about the fashion industry. People say like, no, I've got tailors that can do this. Tailors will show you flames one day. One day, your tailors are all not going to come to work. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Now, a
That's
simple
it.
example. Say, for instance, your tailors are making your garments, they knock off, and then now what you're going to do, you're going to deliver. Now you have like a small alteration, okay? A very menial alteration. Now, because you are a so-called designer who does not know how to thread a needle, even a hand sewing needle, you don't know how to do it. Now, this alteration could take you like 10 minutes in front of the client. Now, you have to come back tomorrow because now you have to wait for your tailors to come back to come and alter a garment that could have been done with in 10 minutes. So education is key. Now, why I stress on education, it's because, yes, we know in Africa, very few fashion schools are actually regulated and are also in international standards or
Right.
even their
Yeah.
local standards. So the problem is people go to these fly-by-night schools. People are not able to do proper pattern making and proper garment construction. And at the end of the day, we as the community, or the community as large, is exposed to these badly made garments. And we've accepted it. We say this is right because it's made in Africa. That for me is out of question, because at the end of the day, what we feed the people is what people are going to accept. And I always make a simple example, Uncle Shola, is that there's nothing as worse as seeing a bride or even a celebrity wearing a beautiful gown and all they're doing the whole night is just lifting this dress. It simply shows that this dress has got issues. Because why?
It doesn't fit. Yeah.
It doesn't fit. There's no suppressions. There's no fitting that has taken place. Now, this poor bride or the poor celebrity, the whole night, instead of looking fabulous, all they worried is about, let me just like fix my dress. And, those are issues. Those are major issues. So, talent is great, but talent needs to be complemented with education. If you do not have education, go and learn with designers that are already established so that you can learn more skills, so that you can understand the technicalities of making a garment. Let's talk about the shirt that you're wearing, Uncle Shola. To a layman, it's a blue shirt. I can cut that collar, I can make it. It's very simple. But the sad part is, let's talk about just the collar. If you are a designer that has gone to fashion school, you understand that that collar is got a collar stand, and then it's got the collar itself. But each and every piece there is about, for the collar stand, there is the outside collar, there's the fusing, there's the inner collar. And there is a technicality that you need to apply, knowing that the inner collar or your under collar has to be 3 millimeters smaller than your outer collar. People don't understand that. And people say, I can cut it, it's a shirt, it's fine. You don't know, and you don't even understand the power of a fusing. You use the wrong fusing, your collar is gonna look wrong. You don't understand grain line, you don't understand notches, you have a big problem because it's going to show you flames. So there's a lot of craftsmanship and technicalities that go into what? Into making of a garment. It's not something that you can whip up and say like, no, I can just, okay, I mean, my Atafo is doing it, I can do it. It's not about that. It's understanding technicalities of what? Of making a garment. Now, coming back to your question, our industry in Africa needs to be regulated. Because there's too many fly-by-nights, too many people that take people's money, run away with it, take people's money, abuse the industry. In return, what it does, it gives the entire industry bad PR to say we cannot trust local designers because they don't deliver on time. Not all of us don't deliver on time. Some of us deliver on time. We respect the money that customers actually give us. The mentality in the continent, I know it happens in Nigeria, it also happens in South Africa. Say a bride is getting married in 2 months or in 6 weeks, whatever it is. They give the so-called designer or dressmaker, whatever it is, the money to pay the deposit. Lo and behold, the Wednesday before the wedding, they go to get their dress. The dress is not cut. They say, come on Friday, it will be ready. What
Yep.
do? You get to the studio, you sit down, you wait. On a Friday, a night before the wedding, they only starting your dress. How disrespectful is that? And as a community, we've accepted that culture, that this is how the industry works. No, this is not how the industry works. For a designer to be making a properly made wedding dress, you need at least 6 to 4 to 3 months in advance to make a properly fitted wedding dress. You can never go to somebody who said, I'll make your wedding dress overnight. It don't matter how amazing your tailors are or whoever it is. It don't matter. Because first of all, you need to make a pattern. Your client needs to come for your first sample fitting and another fitting. Before you cut the real fabric, you must make sure that all the proportions are perfect and the fits are perfect. Then you get to the real fabric. Lo and behold, when you start using even heavily beaded fabrics, you can never put it over on the machine. You have to sew it by hand. And then after you sew it by hand, then you have to close the seams with the very same beads. How are you going to whip that overnight? So I'm saying to you, our industry is flawed by these people who do not want to go to school and understand the technicalities. Thus, we need to regulate it. Fashion in Africa is very powerful because as Africans, we are the biggest consumers of fashion. We love fashion. We love being flashy. We attend red carpet moments. We go to, I know I've been to a Nigerian wedding. When there's a Nigerian wedding, you know it's a big do. There's this whole thing of a color that everybody must have. There's a white dress, there's a traditional dress, all those things. The industry can be booming. We must just do it right. We must get people to start respecting the industry, to understand that fashion is not shake and bake. You cannot be excellent overnight. My take, and what I always teach my interns, is that excellence takes time. You can't be excellent in 24 hours. It takes time, and you gotta perfect it. You gotta love it. If you don't make your garments, if you don't make them with love, I always say, you know, when I make my garments or create my collections, it's like you're making love. You are with this person, with this lover that you are so passionate about. You want everything to be perfect. So I'm saying we have to get to that point whereby we bring back the dignity and the respect that the industry actually deserves.
Wow, guys, this is powerful stuff, and this is what you need to hear. If you're in the fashion industry, this is how it is, and this is what it's about. GANS 207, GANS 007 says, David, what's the difference? And I think this is like good timing. What's the difference between a celebrity designer and a fashion designer?
A celebrity designer is someone who actually wants to be famous, them as a brand, more than a fashion designer who works. And you know, fame, you cannot. I always say, and this is my thing, you cannot get into the clothing and textile industry because fashion is just a word. At the end of it all, this industry is a clothing and textile industry. If you get into it to become a celebrity, wrong address. This is not the place to be a celebrity unless you are just a fabulous designer who has been given money to start a business, and you don't have to worry about overheads and planning and budgeting and making sure that you're profitable as a designer. Wrong address, absolutely. Living hospice, he says wrong address. I always say wrong address. And if you want to be a celebrity, your life, or a celebrity designer, your lifespan is limited because you're going to just come here just to be famous. Remember, fame comes and goes. When your fame is gone, what do? Are you still going to be a designer? So let your work advocate for you, and in turn makes you to become a powerhouse, and that leads to become a celebrity fashion house. Because when you now appear, you're not just like an ordinary designer. people celebrate you because they celebrate
Yeah.
your work, they celebrate your craftsmanship, but your work makes you to become that. We as a brand, David Tlale, we don't thrive on becoming, number one, I hate red carpets. I don't want to go to red carpets. I'd rather be in my studio working, developing another collection or coming up with new techniques and making sure that when I come up with a new collection, I come up with freshness. Question, Uncle Shola, if as a celebrity, as a fashion designer, I'm going to be seen at each and every red carpet, each and every opening of every envelope. When am I designing? When am I creating my collection? You don't work, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at great designers globally. I mean, you look at the likes of Galliano. Hardly saw him wear on a red carpet. It would be like at the Met, once in a year. He would actually do that. Or maybe he's got like 3 red carpets that he does. But most of the time, where is he? Working, working, working. But we celebrate Galliano for what? His craftsmanship. We celebrate Galliano for what? His bias cut dresses and techniques and everything. We look at the likes of Galtia. You look at the likes of McQueen. All these people, you see them, they are just like working people. Their work makes them to become celebrities, but it's not their priority to become celebrities.
Well, I think with the millennial age and the impact of social media, most designers, the first thing they want to do is become a celebrity first, and they think that by becoming a celebrity, they then want to become a designer. Because I know how many people look at you, David, and as far as people are concerned, yes, they see you as a celebrity designer. Because you've got the glitz, you've got the glamour, you've got the persona around you. But unless you're like me or Reese Bonner, that we know you, we know what's the effort, the work you put into it. I remember our first year. We know what we were like on our first year because you are a perfectionist. And if I remember producing your show, and if it was not the way you wanted it, you were not going to go. It was as simple as that. And I found that with celebrity designers, they don't really care. I know how many designers are going, Mr. Mahogany, whatever you put, it's fine. Don't worry, I've got to go to the red carpet.
Imagine.
They're calling me for an interview, and they don't care. and I look at them and I say, this is your business. If I go and mess it up for you, it's you that gets the effects of it, not me. I get paid. Nobody knows me. I'm backstage. I'm behind the scenes. So a lot of people don't really get that. Ebony Dukes asks, first of all, he wants to say, David, that he's so excited to have you on FFA Chat Room. He says, what are the steps that you took to learn the business side of fashion? So what are few of the business challenges that you've faced in building your empire? And it's true, you have an empire. There's no doubt about it. So what I think you got the question, yeah?
Yes. So, I mean, maybe let's just finish off the celebrity fashion designer aspect, and then we can get to the next question. So it's very important to understand that, you said many young people, they're like, I mean, Reese is saying, what happens to those celebrity designers after post Instagram? Because it's only a phase. What happens after that? You're nowhere, you're nobody. And you can see them right now during COVID-19. Those people are struggling. They're doing nothing because they have nowhere to showcase. They can't do anything. You can't see them doing nothing, Uncle Sean. So they, for the simple fact that they can't even cut a mask in their own studio to sell. They're not even thinking business-wise, how can I keep my business going? How can I, become creative during this COVID-19 pandemic that we're going through? You don't see them. They are waiting for the next event. They are waiting to showcase champagne. But question is, why are they not showcasing today? Because we live in the Instagram days. Why are they not showcasing their studios, working with people or working by themselves to say, this is what I'm doing currently? So social media designers or celebrities, whatever it is, it's not sustainable. It's only a phase, because we understand that life comes and goes. Post this, only the strongest are going to survive. So now the question that you asked, the challenges that I faced in building the empire of David Tlale is that, number one, if I knew when I started out in 2003, this is post my education days and me lecturing fashion for 4 years. It's I wished that I took time out to be an intern with another designer before I jumped into launching my brand. Because one of the challenges was I was a creative, but I was not a business person. I was bad. I was bad with numbers and everything else, to a point whereby I've almost been wanted to be evicted out of my premises because I couldn't pay rent. I couldn't pay my team that was working with me. It was tough. So many times that I have fallen into that trap of not being able to be profitable and also make sure that I make proper business decisions. If I look back today, if I have to rectify anything, was after going to fashion school, and because I wanted to be a brand that is a standalone brand and trade with my name, I would have gone to a business school to understand the fundamentals of running a business.
Right.
Now, becoming a businessman, it's something that fell on my lap as I journeyed along, falling, making mistakes, getting like backlash from media, front page, you know, everything. David Tlale financial woes, attacking him. David Tlale almost evicted because of lack of paying rent. I've done all those. I've been through those things. And I'm speaking about these things because it's taken me 18 years to be who I am today. This is on a full-time basis, excluding 4 years of study, excluding 4.5 years of lecturing. So 18 years later, or I started this brand, it's standing. And all this drama that I went through, less from the media and from my landlords and everything else, I've been through it. And this is the reason why we started the Intern by David Tlale, to say, let us try to educate the upcoming young designers. And those who are willing to be educated, you can see them, Uncle Shola, they are thriving. Those who have been through our internship program, they are thriving. They've got their brands. They are trading. They're winning competitions. They're selling in different stores in South Africa. And you can tell that these people have learned a thing or two. We may not have taught them everything, but we've exposed them to the real business of fashion. So there's a lot of things that I actually suffered, but it was for my gain and for my good, because today we are standing as a brand, David Tlale. We are able to say we are growing on a daily basis. And also many partnerships that we've done, collaborations with many brands globally and locally. We've seen how those things have actually done what? Have strengthened the brand, David Tlale.
Fantastic. One of the key things I want to pick out from there, I want to say to people, and I had this when I was talking about events, is that people want to become interns or they want to learn. But you know what I found with a lot of people, David, it might be different with how you're taking on your interns, is that they believe they do 1 month of intern and they know everything. And the next thing they feel that they can go out there and become David Tlale, become a Mr. Mahogany because they've done 1 month. They don't understand what we've gone through. Like you're talking about your rent. Me, I know when they wanted to repossess my house because I was pumping everything into the business. They don't know what it's like. They see us now, and I hear everybody, they say to me, oh, it's okay for you. You're successful. You've got money. You've made it. You're this. And I just look at them and think, you don't know when I was doing 3 jobs. I was doing a taxi driver. I was doing DJ. I was working in a bank, and I was producing shows at the same time.
Yeah.
I was sleeping 2 hours a day, and you're saying it's okay for you, you've made it. But anyway, hopefully they will learn, because what you tend to find is that those guys that have that attitude, they don't survive. They don't last long. So let me ask you another question, David. According to an article by Forbes magazine, yes, one of the main problems that they see in the fashion industry is exploitation of skilled labor. Yes?
Yeah.
This issue, and this is a quote, refers to the fact that couture houses and glossy publications take advantage of individuals looking to make or sustain a career in an industry known for its ironclad exclusivity and a strict you're in or you're out mentality. So the question is is this true of the fashion industry in Africa? And is that perhaps why young designers don't want to learn or intern with big designers? Because, in a nutshell, you guys are taking advantage of them.
So there's a difference between people who want to learn and people who think they've got an opinion. Because in the days that we live in, you know, me and you and many other people, we come from old school. And democracy was nothing in our plate. We worked hard. But now, the new age, we have an issue because they've got democratic rights and they are not willing to work hard and they are not willing to do, I'm talking about interns now. They are not willing to do the dirty jobs. They just want to be fabulous. They want to come into the house of David Tlale and become an assistant designer or just like follow me around.
Yeah.
When you come and become an intern at our business, you run from being a pattern cutter, not pattern maker, a pattern cutter. You cut out what has already been made. You sit down and add seam allowance and make sure that you notch the pattern accordingly. You move from there to sweeping the floor. You move from there to go sit on the machine and sew. You move from there. You are a beader. You have to learn how to bead. You have to learn how to clean the garment, remove all the threads, and you move from there. You go to a pressing point where garments needs to be pressed and make sure that you go. And if we have to cut flowers, because most of our garments, if we make flowers or apply flowers on a garment, we make them in-house. One of the dresses, I think it's about 2 years ago, we made one dress. It took 40 meters just to make flowers. And we had an intern who's like, I'm tired of cutting flowers. I'm like, well, then you don't want to be an intern. Because the whole bottom of the skirt needed to have flowers, silk organza flowers that had to be cut by hand. And then from there, give it over to the finishers and to the people that do all their handwork, hand it over. He was like, I can't be cutting these flowers. I'm tired. I've been cutting these for 2 weeks. I'm like, this is how much time it takes to make this dress. So they come to our studios with a fabulous mentality. They think they're going to be fabulous. They think at the house of David Tlale or at My Atafo or at Jewel by Lisa or whoever, you walk in and you are glamorous. This is like glamour zone. People have never seen us get our hands dirty. When we go to work, we go to work. There's no time for all these things that people see on social media and thinking like, okay, we are taking a bow. We are working. Uncle Shola, I tell you that most working designers, I'm one of them. I'm in my office at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm the last person to leave my office at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., only if the work is done. Now,
that's right.
The new age young designers, they treat this industry as a side chick. So they go to work as and when they feel like it and when they are bored. You can never treat this industry as a side chick. It is your number one. It is your main. There will never be another beyond this industry. And once you start treating it as a side chick, or from the beginning, your work or your craftsmanship is going to show. But people who work, people who understand craftsmanship, people who understand passion and talent, they do this job on a full-time basis. You can never take off. You work Monday to Sunday. You're a designer and you're always working. Now,
that's right.
Where does someone have an opinion that we are abusing highly skilled? If you're highly skilled, cut me a full circle skirt and let me see your skills. Then I can respect it. Then we can be, me and you can speak the same language.
That's right.
Me and you can, because we are both designers. Now, highly skilled labor, some people don't want to pay for it. Because also we are going to bring it back to the consumers. The consumers are like, Beyonce has worn this dress. Okay, let me take it to my tailor. You can just whip this together. Remember, number one, if the dress is made with silk for Beyonce originally, you're going to go to your tailor. They're going to give you polyester, and they're going to give you sequins instead of beads. And you're going to go like you're going to get a shut up and go dress type of thing, not even close. And you say, if someone says, I want a Beyonce dress, if it's made by Givenchy or it's made by what's his name, Tiffany Amber, you must go to Tiffany Amber and pay the original price. Then you're going to understand the process. If you want anything from Diola Sego, you're going to understand the craftsmanship that goes into it. So it's not going to be a quick shut up and go, and there's nobody that is being abused. There's nobody that's been taken advantage of. It's just people have gotten a quick fix to everything. It's like takeouts, quick drive-throughs. I don't want to sit in restaurant because I don't have time. It's a drive-through. Smash and grab, and I'm fine. And we'll see what to do with this garment at the end of the day.
David, you said it as it is. One of the things that somebody made a comment, I didn't get their name. They were saying that maybe the problem with interns is they're like that because they're not getting paid enough. I think they don't understand what the concept is of an intern. You know, I mean, I know that if you do internship in the UK for any of the big magazines, any of the designers, you do minimum 18 months, you don't get a dime. So this person that is saying maybe we don't pay enough,
you don't
get 1 penny. You have to
transport
rent,
yourself, Uncle Sola.
Yes.
You have to feed yourself. You have to make sure you are there on time. If you call Bama today, Uncle, if you call Bama today and ask them if their interns are being paid, they are not being paid a dime. Because why? You're going there to be educated. Imagine that the experience and the knowledge you're going to depart from a fashion house with is gigantic. It's going to make you or even break you as a designer. So why should you be paid as an intern?
I mean, Reed sums it up perfectly. He says, really, the intern should be paying you for the knowledge that you are imparting to them.
Thank you very please. My 18 years of experience, my 4 years of lecturing, my 4 years of education, that is a simple how many years? 26 years of experience. Who can pay me for that? Nobody.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and my experience, I mean, showcasing at New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, traveling, struggling to raise money, and struggling to learn how to put amazing collections together. Who taught me that? I had to struggle. I had to learn. Now I have an understanding. I'm willing to share my information with you. And in return, you want me to pay you? Sorry, not today. Not today. I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry.
David, it is an African mentality, though, because abroad, people are killing themselves to get an internship with an Alexander McQueen or Yves Saint Laurent or any of these big fashion houses or designers that are out there. In Africa, there's a concept of entitlement. That
it is entitlement.
Pay them because they're giving you their time.
Absolutely.
And I don't get it. And I have this argument with people all the time. So
it's the same.
Cox-Wenner, sorry, go on.
Sorry, it's the same thing, Uncle Chola, that people think it's another topic. It's just like celebrities that feel like they need to get free garments from designers, as if you wake up and get fabrics.
Talk about it now, David, because that pisses me off. Talk about it now. Let me forget my other questions. Talk about that, please.
You know, if we want to keep the industry afloat and make sure that we keep growing as an industry, we need to learn to support one another. Understand that as a designer, this is my daily job. This is what I do for a living. Now, when you come to my studio, now I know in Nigeria you have events every week. Now I'm this young designer or emerging designer, and I need a new dress every week from you, but I don't want to pay, and I'm saying I'm going to give you PR. Tell me whose debts, whose rent was ever paid with PR? Which tailors were ever paid with PR? No fabric supplier will give you fabric for free. No no tailor will make a garment for you for free just because you're going to give them PR. Sorry, you don't pay your tailors, they walk away, they don't come back to you. You are screwed as a designer. You are stuck by yourself. All in the name of what? Trying to please the celebrities with a sense of entitlement. My take is, if you believe in me, give me money for buying fabric, give me money for labor. And so that you see me grow. So that when you come next week, you are finding me in the same space you left me. I've grown, I've hired 2 more tailors, or I've hired a pattern maker. Because when you get, when you get booked for a gig, say for instance, you're going to MC a gig, you're going to be paid for a gig.
That's right.
You need free makeup, you need free hairstylist, you need a free dress. But the nerve, Uncle Shola, these people, they go to buy international brands shoes. They go buy Gucci, Louis Vuitton. They buy them cash. They flaunt it on Instagram, but they are not able to pay their local designers that are making them look good on a daily basis. As a house of David Tlale, we have a rule that we don't dress celebrities unless we have a relationship with you. You support us, we support you. I cannot, we are tired of these celebrities saying, I'm wearing David Tlale. At the end of the day, they're wearing YSL shoes that cost 3 times the price of the dress that you're wearing. And they paid it what? Happily so.
Yeah, sir.
We're not playing.
Yeah.
That sense of entitlement must come to an end. This is why this industry is not growing. This is why these young designers and even established designers are suffering on a daily because of these people that are what? So entitled. And the worst thing, some of these celebrities are like, no, I don't want this dress. I saw so and so wearing it. You want a brand new dress? Pay for it. Then we can talk. I am playing with you. No, I saw this dress on the runway. The next thing they're gonna do, who wore it best? I designed it best. Your best thing that you can do is wear it, buy it, and support me because I'm supporting you. That's it. I am playing with you.
I am so with you. That thing frustrates me. I mean, I have a lot of young designers that come and say, oh, can you find me a celebrity to wear the dress? And I say, why?
Why?
I don't see why you need to do it. Make your dresses. There's people out there that will buy it. They say, oh, but I'll get publicity, I'll get PR. It doesn't make any difference.
How are you going to pay your bills? Are you going to go to the market like, give me fabrics because I'm making a dress for so and so and I'll get PR? No, you can't.
Yes.
You don't have money in the market to buy fabric, you ain't getting no fabric. Period.
That's right. It's right. Excuse me. David, how much time do you have with us? Do you have a little bit of extra time, or you want to stick to the hour?
I'll give you 30 minutes extra.
Okay. Guys, please be thanking David, because David's time is invaluable, all right? Because what I'm saying, we've got about another 4 or 5 more minutes of this, so I wanted to say, sorry, I'm just trying to see. We're getting so many questions coming from different people. So, Third Son of March asks, what do you have to say about rich midnight designers? I think this seems to be a very interesting topic to people. Rich midnight designers who feel the fashion designing world is all about money, with or without creativity or know-how. I think you've kind of picked on this already.
We spoke about it. I mean, if you're a rich designer and you have no issues, it's fine. You'll continue making fabulous dresses and you'll end up being a red carpet designer or whatever that you're doing, because you have no issues of building collections, selling collections, and repeating, styles and stuff like that. So you're fine. You're moneyed. You do yours. And also, Uncle Shola, each one to his own, And remember, if you become a designer, a fashion designer,